Hey everyone, welcome to Across the Ditch NC. My name is Laura and I'm so glad you're here today. Well, it has rained for the past 2.5 days. We got quite a bit of rain. I'm not sure of the total. I've seen some people post pictures of their rain gauges on Facebook and they've had anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of rain, and they projected us getting 4 to 6, so that's pretty right in line with that. But haven't been in the garden in 2 days because of the heavy rains, so we're going to take a walk around the garden, check to see how things are going. All right, so I came down to the big garden to check on it. It is a muddy mess. My neighbor, which is this his property, said he came out here during the rain and noticed the water like washing across the garden pretty harshly. So he came and dug a little trench along, which you can see right here. He dug a little trench along to try to divert water away from where I had things planted. So I'm very appreciative of that. But right here is where I planted my beets. I don't see any sprouting. I need to get in here and pull these weeds up. I don't see any sprouting yet. I don't know if the rain potentially washed my seed out. But I have garlic, some more garlic starting to sprout. And I'm doing this from the outside of the fence because I have on the wrong shoes to walk in here in that mud. But my garlic is starting to sprout in this section. That garlic is doing really good. Squishy. The broccoli and cabbages are doing really well. I'm gonna try to get on the other side of this fence. Broccoli and cabbages are doing really well. Little onions, can't really see them that good. Trying to zoom in. There he is, right there. Little onions are doing good. Down here is the area that I planted about a week ago. You can see where the rain was washing the stuff out. So some of these plants are partially buried right there, so I don't know if they'll survive. I'm gonna go put on my boots and come out here and try to kind of lift those leaves out of the mud. That way maybe they'll survive and the leaves won't rot. But you can see where it was washing out, so I might. Hey everyone, welcome back. It is the next day. Yes, I'm wearing the same clothes. There's a wonderful invention called a washing machine. All right, it is warmer today, but I'm not gonna let that deter me from winterizing my garden. I have some of these, you can see it, little skinny metal rods that I ordered from Johnny Seed Company to create hoops in my garden, and I'm gonna show you how I do it. That way I can go ahead and pretty much finish winterizing my garden, so it'll be easier to put my row covers on and protect my plants from the frost that we are probably going to have next week, since it's showing temperatures in the low 30s, and I even saw 29 up there now. That changed overnight. So let me show you how I do this. All right, so I have the metal rod, and all I'm going to do, it's long, it's straight, well, until I just bend it. But I'm just going to make a hoop with it just like that and stick it in the ground. They actually stay pretty well. The cardboard's already falling apart. Get it even. That's pretty much it. So I've already done that on both sides of my garden. That was the last one for me to put in. Adjust this just a little bit. There we go. See it a little bit more upright. So there we go. That's all I have to do to put my hoops in. So this is the no-dig bed you saw me do in a few videos back. But I have the hoop you just saw me put in right there. There's another one right there. And then you've got the two on the end. I shouldn't need a center support with as short as this bed is. However, I'm probably gonna do like a mini hoop right here in the middle just to give it a little bit of lift when I put the fabric over it. But I'm gonna put a string from this one to this one and that one to that one, just to give some support so the row cover don't sag. All right, so I have added, see if I can do it right there, that little middle hoop to provide just a little bit of support. And now I'm going to take my string and tie it to the hoops and go from 1 to 1 and try to create a support system for my frost fabric. So I'm going to start right here on the side just to try to create a little bit of a side support. And I pull my string real tight, so hopefully there won't be any, or at least much sag with that frost fabric. Now I'm going to do it from the side over here to the middle hoop to the end, and then I'm going to repeat it on the other side. So I'm going to just go ahead and try to cut off a long piece of string real quick. Should be plenty. So I'm going to go from here, try to put this at a little bit more of an angle. There we go. And I'm looping my strings around and trying to get them really tight. I'm trying to loop them several times around that knot, so they'll hopefully stay in place. If not, I'll probably come out here and just put like a little dab of super glue right below the string, just so it'll stay in place and won't slide down the hoop. And I'm just about breaking it. So come right here. Pull it tight a couple times on either side of the string so it's secure. And then I'll come back and tie it to this back hoop. Once again, pulling tight so I don't have any sag in my frost fabric. And now looking at it, I probably should have done the middle ones first, because now I have sag in my exterior string. But I can fix that. A couple of good ties. I'll hold that right there so I can get this pulled tight. And I'm just going to continue that for the rest of it until I have it done. So the very first string that I tied was pretty tight when I tied it. However, when I did my center supports and I pulled those tight, it got really loose, so I'm going to have a lot of sagging in the fabric on that side if I leave this string the way it is. So I'm going to come in here and tighten it. And what I did, instead of cutting it and all that stuff and restringing it, I took a piece of my leftover twine from that I cut too long for the other ones. I took it and I tied it over here pretty good, and I'm just going to pull on it and pull it tight. Yeah, it's pretty tight now. And I'm going to loop them all together. I'll loop this around a couple of times to try to bring it in a little bit tighter. There we go. Oh yeah, that's good. All right, it's not pretty, but it works. Give it lots of good ties. There we go. Now it's tight. So now I'm gonna lay my fabric across the top of it so you can see how I do that and how I secure it. Just to kind of show you what I've done here, I've got strings going from this point and that point, and the same 2 points on the other 2 hoops. So the exterior pieces of twine go from the edge of the arch. I know arches don't have edges, but from right here on the arch straight to this one down here. Then the interior pieces of twine on this one and this one stretch to that center hoop and then go to the ones on this side. So now I'm going to put my frost fabric over it and secure it with my sandbags. Okay, so I'm going to put my AG19 row cover, the frost fabric from Johnny C Company. I'm going to put this over my garden with the hoops and the twine and stuff now. The original one that I cut for this, when I was just laying over it for really quick frost protection, it fits it lengthwise, but when it comes to actual width, I was about 6 inches too short. It fit fine laying over top of it, but adding the hoops, it didn't work. So I can utilize that elsewhere in the garden. So I'm just gonna unroll this and kind of pull it over to the other side. This row cover is, how big is it? 10 foot by 50 foot. So I got plenty to work with, and I can cut it to length, to size, for whatever I need. Sorry. Pull it to the other side. Foot caught up on it. That's perfect. Roll it just a little bit more, so I have plenty to work with. I want to make sure I have plenty of overhang on both sides so I can secure it properly. That'll be good. All right, so I got it over the garden bed. I've got plenty of extra fabric on the other end. I'm going to attempt to cut a straight line on this end. Attempt is the key word here, because I'm not good at doing that. I want to make sure I have plenty of overhang on this side. Move you back so you can see my terrible cutting skills. There you go. Make sure I didn't pull any off the other side. Still good. Alright, so I'm going going to come and cut. I'm going to attempt to follow that fold line. That way I'll have a little bit extra in case I need it. Entertaining, I know, watching somebody cut fabric. Get up and go to the other side. All right, there we go. Ta-da. So now I'm going to start on the far end over here. The one furthest away from you. Move you back up a little bit. Actually, I'm going to start on this end. That way you can see what I'm doing, since you can't see the other side very well. I'm going to tuck the ends under and put down some sandbags. Bring it down over the side here and go in front of these bricks. So I'm going to use that brick to help secure this corner here. Grab a sandbag. I ordered these off of Amazon, and I had a pile of dirt in my backyard, and so I just use that to fill these sandbags, and they work really well. I'm not worrying about pulling anything tight right now. I'm just going to kind of fold this under. Sit on it. Wait. Another sandbag. Do the same thing. Now I am going to pull it tight doing this, so it'll be tight lengthwise, or not lengthwise, but widthwise. I'm just going to pull this and tuck it. I'll set this on the corner. Give it some weight. And right here would be a good place to do like a garden stake. I do not buy garden stakes. We actually take metal hangers and cut them and make garden stakes out of them. So just kind of a thrifty way to do things differently. We cut metal hangers. I can usually get about 4 garden stakes out of 1 metal hanger. So we'll cut them and use them to stake down fabric and stuff. I'm going to go inside the garden so I can go on this opposite side and secure it with a sandbag, which is, let me use my frost fabric over here. I don't know how well I'll actually be able to do this. Stick my fingers through this fencing. Get it where it won't fly up if a gust of wind comes. The great thing about working in the garden is if you get hungry, you can grab you a little snack. I love sweet peas. So now I'm going to pull my cover tight. I'm gonna have to work on that other side a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna pull that sandbag off. I'm gonna pull it tight on this end first. You get plenty of exercise doing this stuff too. I'm gonna walk around. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing on this end. I'm going to pull my fabric tight. And secure it with a sandbag. I'm going to try to tuck it down on the side of this pallet. That way, it's got a little bit of anchor on the end here. It doesn't sag quite as much. It's doing a pretty good job though. Pull this tight. Pull it under. Sandbag on. Call it gravy. One more on this side. Pull the pants up, sorry. And tight. Fold. Tuck. Over the edge. And put my sandbag on it. There we go. I'm going to come back and pull this side just a little bit more tight. When you're putting these on, it takes some adjustment until you get it just right. That looks good. So this garden bed is protected from the upcoming frost, and we're going to have a couple nights possibly of potential frost, so I can leave these up. These allow, I think, 80% light transmission, if memory serves me correct. It allows moisture to penetrate the fabric, so if it rains or if I come out to water it, it'll still get plenty of water, and it's easy access. So if I want to come out and harvest, as these this is the purple mustard greens on the end, and then I've got kale and turnips and some cabbage over here on this end. When I come to harvest them, I'll have to just pull the sandbag off, lift the fabric up, get what I need to get, and then put it right back down, and it's easy peasy, ready to go. So I'm just going to come sit. For right now, I'm just going to sit one sandbag on the side here. It wouldn't hurt to do two. However, I would come out here, and if I knew we were getting some heavier rain, not heavier rain, but some wind, I would come out here and put another sandbag down each side lengthwise, so it would be less likely to blow the fabric up, because in high wind storms that could happen. Come over here, set the sandbag down, just to kind of hold this side down a little bit. Doing that pulls my string down some, but it's okay on this side. There you go. You have a protected garden bed using frost fabric and some hoops. Walk around, take a look at it. looks good if I do say so myself. Now I just got to do all of those. And I got to do the big garden that's way over there. But the good thing about the one in the big garden is already partially set up. Alright, so I'm going to try to get this garden set up the way it's supposed to be. Last time I just very quickly strung some string up to support it, but today I'm going to do the same method that I did over there in my garden at the house. I'm going to do over here on these. And this garden is looking a little rough right now because of all the rain that we had. I'm trying to get y'all adjusted. There we go. We had a ton of rain the past few days. I need to get in here and pull weeds, but I gotta wait for it to dry out some because it is just a slushy, muddy mess out here. I'm gonna go to the other end and cut string and then start looping it the way it's supposed to be done. Actually, I'm gonna loop right here in the middle first. I'm going to use the same method that I used in my garden over there. Like I said, tying to these exterior hoops. I'm going to go do the interior first because I learned my lesson a while ago. I'm going to do my interior first, right here and right here. Go all the way to the end, and then I'll come back and do my exterior. Okay, so I have this one done. I still need to, where I had beets planted, but I'm pretty sure the seeds got washed away, and some more cabbage and stuff planted here. I need to bring my little metal hoops over here and set them up and get this part done. But I have this area done, so I'm gonna pull the cover over it and secure it with the sandbags, including the new end over there that I had to extend on since the last time because I've since planted there, and then cut the fabric to be the correct length, because remember, this is 50-foot in length fabric, and obviously this is not a 50-foot long garden bed, as much I would love for it to be. I am thankful it is what it is. But yeah, so let's get the fabric pulled over, get it cut, and get everything secured. So we got it done. She is protected. I will come back out here. I have one little area here going the length that I need to put some hoops down, tie together. Like I said a while ago, I will come back out here shortly and do it. But she is secure. This fabric is very dirty where I had it balled up. When I pulled it off, I just laid it on the other side and set some bags on it so it wouldn't blow off. So when it rained and washed out a lot of the dirt, a lot of it ended up on that frost fabric. So I feel good to say that it'll probably wash off. I hope it'll wash off when it rains or when I come out here in water. And there's a little bit of sagging between each one. I'll come back out here and pull a little bit tighter after things kind of settle down. But that is my winterized big garden. So I know you couldn't see the rods very good earlier, and I don't know if you can really see them that good now, but these are the metal rods that I used to make my little arch tubes with. But I'm gonna go finish up the big garden because my backyard garden don't take that long to do this in because I've already got most of the stuff set up. But I gotta go finish the big garden. So as you can see, I have 4 of the beds in the backyard garden completely covered. I have 2 of the rows in the big garden covered. I got 1 more to cover over there. And then I have to cover over here if I don't trip and fall over my own stuff. I have to cover my perimeter, and then 1, 2, 3 beds, which I already have a hoop set up in those 3 beds. And my husband is going to rig some sort of support system, most likely out of PVC pipe, for these 18-inch beds that my lettuce is planted in. So slowly getting the garden ready for winter, at least for our next round of frost. All right, so I go through all this trouble to protect my garden with the frost coming up and the winter season quickly approaching. Well, I put a lot of work into this garden. I put a lot of work into growing the seedlings. I spent a lot of time working on it, and the best reason is that my family will have fresh food this winter time instead of going to the grocery store and buying food that's been handled by I don't know who and has been sitting on that shelf for I don't know how long. I can come to my backyard. I can pick some fresh broccoli. I say pick, cut fresh broccoli. I can pick fresh lettuce. I can pull some radish. I can do all that for my family this winter time with what to some may appear to be a lot of work with the planting, and they're starting with preparing the beds to the planting to putting these row covers on. But in all actuality, I've been out here maybe an hour and a half, and it actually takes me longer to do this stuff because I am filming. So moving my camera, setting up, explaining what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and all that good stuff, it actually takes a little bit longer for me. But it would probably take me a solid hour and a half of steady work setting up every garden bed that I have in the backyard with a row cover, plus setting up, probably take about another 20-30 minutes to set up the big garden. So really not a whole lot of time invested. So I encourage you, if it is getting kind of late in the season to really start any types of vegetables right now, but you still can do it in like a container garden in like an enclosed area, maybe even inside your house, depending upon what you're growing. You could try lettuce or things like that, but it don't take a lot of effort. Definitely something to think about for next year. In all honesty, definitely something to think about in a month or two, because come end of December, 1st of January, I'm going to start planning my spring garden, how I'm going to lay it out. But I don't even call it a spring garden so much as it's a late winter garden, because I'm going to go ahead and have seeds started for another round of broccoli, another round of cauliflower, cabbages, kale, things of that nature, stuff that likes to grow in cooler weather. That way I can get them a little bit more mature than what I did already, let them grow a little bit bigger, become a little bit more mature, and then transplant them out into my garden underneath these row covers. Probably March, early March. Hey, my lights just came on. They're so pretty. But that way we can have another round of fresh veggies. So it's not too late. So go ahead and think about doing that. And you don't have to have fancy row covers. You can use bed sheets, just elevate them a little bit. The only thing is with the bed sheets is they don't really allow light transmission. So you would need to uncover your garden during the day, which wouldn't work too well if the temperatures are really cold during the day. These row covers that I bought, they were $16 for 10-foot by 50-foot sections. That's not a lot of money, because that one $16 bag of row covers can cover 4 of these beds in the backyard easily. So it's not too heck of a lot of money, but it is a little bit of investment, but definitely worth it in my eyes, because I'm going to save money over the winter, or recoup my costs this winter, because I did just buy these, by growing these fresh veggies and picking them, and that way I don't have to go to the grocery store and buy them. But that's me rambling on. But yeah, these row covers will help my veggies to continue to grow on these little bit cooler nights. It'll protect them from the frost, and then over the winter, when the temperatures just get too cold for them to grow, it'll at least keep them protected, so I can continue to harvest and they won't be damaged by any of the frost or the freezing temperatures. My other set of lights came on. Definitely invest in twinkle lights for a garden. It makes it magical. Yeah, I know it's cheesy. I don't care. I'm a cheesy person. Anyone who knows me knows that. All right, well, that is going to do it for tonight. I'm going to stop winterizing for tonight. I'll come out tomorrow, throw the rest of the frost fabric onto the garden beds and get them secure. I've got to fill up a few more sandbags so I can get that done, but it shouldn't take me half an hour to finish up the big garden and the few beds that are left in our backyard. So I'll get that done real quick tomorrow when we get home from church, and our garden will be done. So probably for the next week, I will just leave these covers on full time, because the temperatures are going to be pretty chilly during the day. I say chilly, like down into the 50s, and the temperatures starting Monday night, I think it is. I need to look at the forecast again. Either Sunday or Monday night are going to start dropping down into the 30s, and there's one night, I believe it's Tuesday night, where it's showing 29. But this will keep my veggies protected and hopefully keep them growing so we can have a good harvest this winter. But grow your garden. Definitely go ahead and start considering planting a late winter garden / early spring garden. You will not be disappointed. You'll be surprised about how much you can grow. I'm in zone AA, Eastern North Carolina, and I can grow a lot of stuff during the winter time. If you're in more southern parts of the country, you can grow even more than I can during the winter months. So definitely consider it. Look up, things that you can grow in your zone for the month, and go ahead and start planting. Go ahead and buy your seed. Go ahead and, looking at the calendar, seeing when is the earliest that you can plant your plants indoor and start growing your seedlings. Go ahead and make a plan. Plant you a garden. You will not be disappointed. It is a ton of fun. It can be just as easy or hard as you want it to be. I like to make it as easy as possible. I'm a busy person, and I like things easy. I feel like most people do. So it's not that hard. You can do it. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope you will come back to see me again.